Hi, everyone. I want to introduce you to one of our keynote speakers at the upcoming WOW event, Reverend Dr. LaTaunya Bynum. Hi, Toni.
Hi.
And Toni is going to give us a little bit of information about what she's going to be talking about and just give you the opportunity to get to know her. So, Toni, tell us what you're most excited about at the WOW event in June.
I think I'm most excited about two things. One is the opportunity to be with a group of women who love the church and are excited about ministry and what they can do and God's call in their lives. There was so much energy around the event that was in Arizona that I'm really excited to be a part of this one as well. I had no responsibilities at that one, which is probably why it was so much fun. I could just kind of walk around and talk with people and hang out and worship. But I'm always humbled by the invitation to keynote an event. And to be the first one is both daunting and humbling. And so I'm looking forward to being with people that I know and meeting some new people. My sister's going to be there, who's just recently moved to Las Vegas and actually registered for the event.
That's great.
And just looking forward to a good time in worship.
I love that. And so you're keynoting on Friday night. So you will kick us off with all of your energy.
Right.
So yeah, why did you say yes when the team approached you? And I should have said at the beginning that Toni is the regional minister for Northern California, Nevada region. So just one state over from Vegas. Yeah. So when the team approached you and asked you to keynote, what was your aha moment to say yes?
I almost never say no to invitations to do things in the church. The only reason I would say no is if I just didn't have time or had a conflict. I was going to come to this event anyway. It was already on my calendar. And I welcome the opportunity to preach from a text I've never preached from before. And to wrestle with that and to talk about one of the women in the Bible that we know, but we don't really know, to talk about her leadership and her charisma around that particular text, to talk about who gets to lead and who doesn't, and who we see as leaders and who we don't. Some or all or none of that will be in a sermon I'm going to do in June. But
can you give us a hint? Who is the woman that you're?
Miriam.
Okay.
Miriam, sister of Moses and Aaron, and a leader in her own right, preaching from Numbers 12, which I'm pretty sure I have never preached from Numbers, except maybe one or two, the Shema or something, or 10 Commandments. But I'm also pretty sure I've never preached a sermon on Miriam.
I love that.
So just both the challenge of that and the fun of it. I already have a title, which I won't reveal.
Okay, keep it under wraps.
But it'll be fun.
I love that. And so I heard a little hint, and maybe you can just talk about it for a minute about who's called, like, how did you phrase it? Who's called or who's not called, or who leads and who doesn't lead?
Yeah. Everything, I'm seeing everything right now through the lens of the times the country is in. And by the time we get to Las Vegas, we'll be in the thick of a presidential campaign. And one party's nominee may or may not be a woman. And what does that mean? I'm very well aware of that some of us are still fairly traumatized, healing from 2016. And so the question is, does that mean having run and lost, do we run again or do we give up? And I'm for running again. I'm for not giving up. And so when Miriam and Aaron challenge Moses and are rebuked by God for that, the people side with Miriam and just say, we're going to stay here till she's allowed to be with us again. That's leadership and discipleship in some ways. So I would just want to explore some of those themes. And I think that part of it is, what's our expectation of women, obviously? And what's the role of women to lead? And do we really, truly believe that women can lead? And even more, and again, some or all or none of this will be in the sermon, where do we get our validation to say it's okay for women to lead? Where does that validation come from?
I love that. And so I can envision women coming and attending and becoming inspired about their own capacity to be leaders.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. Yeah.
I love that. The theme of the weekend is seeking God's grace in the desert. Could you talk to us just for a moment or two about what grace means to you?
Grace doesn't mean for me, never mind. Grace means a do-over. I guess it would be a mulligan if we played golf, but grace means having acknowledged a flaw, that you get to keep moving, that flaw is not held against you. I keep thinking, I'll have to find the exact quote, that Brian Stevenson says that we shouldn't be judged by the worst thing we've done. And in the same way, we probably shouldn't be eternally validated by the best thing that we've done.
Right.
That human beings are complex, that we're complicated, and we get it right a good bit of the time, and sometimes we get it wrong. And grace, I think, preserves our humanity while we're trying to figure it out, while we're just putting one foot in front of the other with good intentions. I mean, I think there are people whose intentions are not good, and I don't know what grace means for them, but for people who have some intentionality to do the right thing, grace is the ability to keep moving, to know that God is with us, that there are consequences for what we do, good consequences and bad consequences, but that God is with us throughout.
I love that. So I hope that women who are watching this feel the grace in their own lives, and that we don't have to hold on to, we don't have to be defined by mistakes that we've made.
Right. Yeah.
Grace. Love that. Well, any final words that you would like to say to women as we're preparing to come to Las Vegas?
So I'm just looking forward to being with the wild women of the West in Las Vegas, and to having a good time and learning, and doing a little bit of teaching and a lot of learning and listening, and introducing my sister to my friends. I think that'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
That'll be really fun. And so everyone come to the weekend, because you'll hear Toni first thing on Friday night to kick us off for the weekend. That'll be great. Thank you so much for your time.
You are welcome.